Alright, peace and power. I want to welcome everybody to my channel. This is Francisco Perez, out here in lovely Hawaii on this beautiful Sunday. It's early in the morning. I'm going to do a little video and then I'm going to do some family stuff. So let's get back into that book. So we're going to continue off on that article that we had on the internet. Alright, this is about the book American Historical Documents, the Harvard Classics. Alright, this is Letters from Columbus, and we're at the part where he's talking about the Grand Khan. Now we're going to go to the article where we left off in part 2. Alright. So, let's start from the beginning of where we were. However, what do we know? Before the October 12, 1492, about the many attempts and trips that had been made to that part of the world. It's an obscure matter, but some points have been accepted so far. There were travelers from China. We know the Chinese who went there is actually full-bearded Afro people. So not the Chinese in the sense that we know them today. They say Polynesian. Polynesian are full-bearded Afro people. They said Japan, and Japan, the Jaman people were a full-bearded Afro people. Phoenicia is a Canaanite people who's like Arab people, but when they teach us Phoenicians today, they talk about the Hebrew full-bearded Afro people, the Semitic, Hebraic people. They're called Phoenicians many times. They're the great sailors. They had canoes and they navigated by stars and wind patterns. The Egyptians, which at one point, before the Egyptians ruled, there was the Hyksos, and they were full-bearded Afro people. But when we speak about Egyptians, we're actually talking about, I know a lot of you guys know Polynesians, or maybe you might know some African Americans or something, who are Afro, but they can only grow mustache and maybe a goatee, but no, can't grow a full beard. Those will be Egyptians. Like a lot of southern Polynesians have Egyptian heritage. Greece. We know Greece was a full-bearded Afro people. All you gotta do is go to realhistory.com, and on the realhistory.com, you can go to all these places and look at ancient artifacts from those areas. So if we want to go Greece, let's try Minoans. Oh man, they always making my life hard. Just let me show them the evidence. So the Minoans, Cypriots, Cyclades, Islanders, and Greece. So we'll just scroll down and see some pictures. Is these full-bearded Afro people, springy to woolly hair? Your hair defies gravity. There's coils, tight and loose, depending. All good for electrical conduction. It's also blocked the sun from frying your brain, so you have a stronger mental foundation. So if you scroll down, look, you can look this book up. Journal of the Royal Institution of Cornwall. All these things, page 282, page 281, they will show you history. See, the thing is, they teach you falsehoods and they show you the truth. So if you scroll down, look, I mean, Europe, this is a European, of one form of a European. Today, this is what we see, right? But they would have looked like this instead. This is another etching of different types of people. This one seems that it could actually be all Hebrew people, because he's just got his hair cut. He just looks like he has a beard. So this is how you cannot really tell too much, but this looks like an afro. This looks like a sort of an afro. They have full beards, but this is how we used to pray. Just like how the Muslims pray, we used to pray where we'd kiss the ground or put our heads to the ground and our hands in the air. You go up and down, up and down, up and down, praising the Creator. Beraka, beraka. Hi, hi. So, I mean, you scroll down more and more, look. European. Crete. Find some good ones. See, this is, you gotta watch out, because this is the whitewashing. You see how nice this painting is? See how modern this painting is? The modern ones are the perversion. If you find the same pictures older, you'll find that they're different. And they tried to make them more Mongoloid or European in order to claim your heritage. Just put you out of your own pasture and say, no, you're never here. I don't know where you were. You're probably in Africa. Go back to Africa, you know. So I just quick one, just skimming through. See, look, this is the hair. This is my hair, right here. I can show you right now my hair. You see it? If I don't brush my hair, it'll dread up. It'll dread up so quick you wouldn't even believe it. Got knots and everything. Like, you gotta watch out. So that's my hair. I could easily dread each one of these coils up and have beautiful dreaded hair like that. I'm just enjoying my hair, because my whole life I fought my heritage. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. And I always cut my hair, always trying to look good, because that's what society wants. The women want to have sex with a man that's clean cut. Or, you know, I understood that women like this, but the whole journey from short hair to this is not desirable. So you don't go for it, because you're looking for short game. You're looking for now, here and now. I want it now. That's why when you see a girl that you really like, you really connect with, you want to be with her, you want to talk to her, but you end up your whole life just the easy route, or the one that was a guarantee. You know what I mean? So that's, it plays in everyday life. But this is a heritage. Heritage is why they call it heritage. I don't have to do anything for this. All I gotta do is wet my hair and dry it naturally. You don't do anything crazy. All you do is just dry your hair, and the hair is like this after. Because this is my natural heritage, which can be seen in these ancient cultures. My daughters have this hair, but they use a flat ironing because their mother or their families, they have family or friends that have the flat hair, the straight hair, and they want to imitate it because that's sold to them as beautiful. And I can understand because it's not that I hated my hair and I wanted to be straight hair. I was considered Mexican because my father is 100% Native American from Central America, and because of that, he's called a Mexican today. All right. So, growing up, being the way I am, look at me. You can see my features, my nose, my cheeks, everything. You can see my hair, my eyes, all these features are a lot different than the mainstream Mexican that you would see. So growing up, I felt out of place. I was treated out of place. To most Mexicans, I was not Mexican enough to be Mexican, right? Even though I'm half Aboriginal of Central America, I wasn't Mexican enough because I didn't look like them, because my hair wasn't straight like theirs, and because I couldn't speak Spanish, because my mom whisked us away from my father when we was young. So I didn't have a father. So I didn't learn Spanish. I was raised all over the world, but all over America, but I never was around my Mexican side. All right, which were in Central Mexico and California. All right. So I wasn't Mexican enough, and so I see all the movies. I know the gang life. I know all the hood, Chicano, all this stuff. So my hair will be cut short, or you know what I mean, a little longer than usual, and I would use like baby oil, any kind of thing to straighten my hair to look like a suave Chicano, like from the hood. Orale, Holmes, like, you know, like the girls, they really like that jet black straight back hair, because my hair didn't have this red tinge growing up. I got this red tinge just recently. My whole life, my hair is jet black. So when the thing was straight back, and I put like the best gels. I even had to use African gels a lot of times, but I never put two and two together. So I use all these gels and my hair would be slicked back, real slick. Oh, I got a lot of play. And I was like, yeah. Orale, cruising with all the Mexicans. But I was never really accepted. Just like in Hawaii, I was never really accepted. Oh, you're not really Hawaiian because you don't look Chinese. You don't look like a really, really dark Chinese or Japanese person. You don't look like a really dark Filipino Hawaiian, because that's what we all look like now, because we got the same images, the Renaissance whitewashed images or Mongoloid images. We don't understand that if we look at all of our grandparents, they're Negroid, they're Afro people, and then they had out of marriages with people out of their heritage, and which most of them they married out to the males, which drastically changed their heritage. So I can understand, because I did it most of my life trying to make that straight hair. I mean, I you know how much millions I probably spent $1 million on gel my whole life and hair products. It's not like I was doing my hair for an hour, but I'll put like a handful of gel and boom, so that it stays, because the thing would pop up, or my hair would go right and then left, and then above it would go down, and then above that would go back. So I was like, I can never get this straight. didn't understand that I had springy hair. That's why. And they were saying like, "What are you doing? You know how much hair I cut? I would cut my hair once a week, once and twice a week. Got so bad where I bought my own buzzers and I taught myself how to cut my own hair. And I had a bathroom where there's mirrors in front and in back, and the back ones the outer windows could move, so I could get every angle. And I used my ingenuity to teach myself how to use different things to cut my hair, so that I could make fades and I could make all of this and that, so I could do it on my own. I don't have to pay anybody. So I was cutting my hair once or twice a week. A week, man. So let's get on with the show. See, this is the bullshit I was trying to find, and I finally found it. Yes, let's save this one. So this is exactly what they do. They get the universities. This is the staff from University of Chicago. They come out there and they re-etch it. They lighten it up with white paint. They redraw it. They do all kinds of stuff. That's why the Asiatic pictures you see are in the light image, because they're whitewashing it. Because the Asiatics who had red tinge, who had full beards, who had springy hair, they're the closest that the Europeans can match to them. Like, oh, I can pretend to be them because my hair is really red, so I can pretend. I have a beard. I can twirl my hair. I can pretend to be them. So let's go after them. I can't change the Nubian to look like me. Let's change the Asiatic man. I can pretend to be him. For real. Let's get on with this already. See, just when I was speaking on it, this is the Asiatic man. But yeah, I have pictures where they show us side by side original view and these recreated views. And this is how the Asiatic man looks, dark like this. This is the Egyptian I was telling you about, who only can grow a beard or a goatee and has afro hair, like many Polynesians. This also is like many Polynesians, just dark. And this is what they would call a Nubian, really, really dark skinned. And this would be a Libyan, kind of like a Turk or Iranian or whatever. See how the brown skin on this Asiatic picture? So history is not what you were taught. This is the fake, and this is the real. This is the fake. I don't even know if they're gonna show the real. Sorry if my nose is all messed up. Sorry, I'm just really bad. I don't like to use that word. I don't feel too well. I'm gonna start using some natural plants that I've done collected and try to use those as teas. It's supposed to help. Let's get into it. However, what do we know before the October 12th, 1492, about the many attempts and trips? Oh, we had Japan, Greece, Rome, Ireland, England. You know what I mean? England is the Union Jack, the Jacob tribes who got band together and created England. Ireland is the tribe of Dan. They were the Vikings. And even the king of Mali, which Frank, the historian Frank, I forget his last name, he's on YouTube, his lecture, and he teaches about the Mali king who came down. He traded corn. He traded for corn, and this corn can be found in Africa today. Possible that be. Not only were there geographic maps behind Columbo's travel, but a book too. An old, ancient book. Ooh, is that a Freemason mystery book? Oh, mystery code. Look, it's right there. More than one witness stated this fact. During the Plato's Cambinos, a long trial of Colombo's descendants by the Spanish court. This was repeatedly confirmed by the Turkish admiral Piri Reis. And we all understand from Ancient Aliens the Piri Reis map that shows Antarctica in its natural form without ice. Right? So did this Turkish admiral have an ancient map from this ancient book? A mysterious code? Just like the Voynich manuscript, which is a Freemason writing form, which we haven't deciphered because it's many Freemason languages from different areas of the world combining together to create a system where everyone can communicate together. A book dating back to what time? Maybe from Alexandria's library. Was it a Hebrew code? Colombo was an avid reader, in search of knowledge, careful in his notes, almost 2,500 in his readings. He used to comment and rework his notes with patience and meticulousness. We know he was a reader of Plinius. In Plinius, we find all the west outside of Hercules' column has been explored and observed. So Plinius says all the world was traveled. Yet they teach us isolation, man. You stayed in your little area. Yet we know we were master navigators. We understood the wind patterns, the westerly winds, the regular winds. We knew the freeways, river systems in the oceans that took you from one point to another. Just like in Finding Nemo, how they went on that freeway in the ocean to get to Sydney, Australia. We understood this and we used this. I need some water. Let's see. We know that Colombo read works of the geographer Pope Pius II, who knew the fine description of the globe plane by Eratosthenes. Unfortunately, very little is left of Colombo's library. What a shocker! Oh, all of the books of the man who actually came here, who was given a contract with the Queen of Isabella to be a king in America, to own lands. Oh, his library is gone. Most of it's disappeared. What a shocker. Because just like how these different nefarious organizations runs around libraries, taking these books and destroying them, the same thing happened then. Well, what has too much information? I already read something from Columbus saying that he meticulously went through his correspondence and not to leave anything too pertinent. So he knew how important the information, how it could be used against him, where he formulated and went over his writings several times to make sure everything was according to plan, according to the parameters, to keep his information safe, to keep his agenda safe, right? So, where are we at now? The source of his dreams. Enough, however, to allow us to understand who this unusual and mysterious sailor was. Especially if we think that at his time, books were extremely expensive and not very popular. This doesn't fit what the interest of a not very rich seaman might have been. So what we told, he's a poor seaman who just was a great seaman. And what he could afford, culture was for the priesthood. Was he a priest of the Jesuit army or other religious sects? And even after Gutenberg, it didn't become available to the masses, but only to wealthy people. Haha. The sailor, however, though as ignorant and as historians suppose him to have been, wrote in 1511, "Our Lord blessed me with enough knowledge of astrology." Now we call astronomy, geometry, and arithmetic, together with intelligence and attitude, to draw maps with cities, rivers, and mountains, all in proper position. I spent time to study the books of cosmography, history, chronicles, philosophy, and more. Look at what this man, his whole life, his whole life is trained for one thing: to come to America, conquer the Holy Land, and destroy the Grand Khan. You don't believe me? Huh? You don't believe me? Alright, okay, I'm gonna get into it then. If you don't believe me, alright, I'll show you the evidence. Alright? Let's finish this though. Not bad for a mere adventure, not to mention that his culture, as he told many times, derived from Greek, Latin, and Hebrew works, and from other people. It is clear that he was an educated scholar, a scientist, a man with a universal perspective. Despite modern judgments, him is merely based on his survived book. So the mind state that we have on this man, his personality, and the history of this man are based on just a small fraction of books that had survived. And the true man is way more complex and connected. Only a part of those he probably produced. So a lot of the books that we do have, he never even wrote. He never produced them. When portrayed as a brilliant amateur, he fits well with tradition, uncritically accepted, which claims him as a man of poor culture. This is, however, contrary to the truth, as it is despite the few remains of Columbina Library in Seville's cathedral that describes him as an intellectual man, careful, eager to learn. 2 of 2,500 marginal notes found on his readings are in Italian. The only hint of Italian in his writings that alternate between Latin and Castilian. There's much discussion on this point. It is told that many of the notes should be attributed to Bartolomeo, the brother, whose handwriting was similar to Columbo's. Now let's do away with this for now, okay? And let's bring up something else. Wait. Let's see. I might have something else I wanted to see. Oh, that was close. Okay, let's move on. So, this is his writings from Columbina Seville, the cathedral. These let me see. In 1992, celebrations of the 500th anniversary of the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the New World will be held. For the descendants of the survivor of the subsequent invasion, genocide, slavery, ecocide, and exploitation of the wealth of the land, a celebration is not an appropriate observation of this anniversary. The church, with few exceptions, accompanied and legitimized this conquest and exploitation through dumb diverses and doctrinal discovery. theological justifications for destroying native religious beliefs while forcing conversion to European forms of Christianity, demanding a submission from the nearly converted that facilitated their total conquest and exploitation. Therefore, we're going to read on. So, here we go. Among the earliest and most fascinating witness to the later is a manuscript of 84 folios dating between September 13, 1501 and March 23, 1502, and now preserved in the Biblioteca Colombina in Sevilla. It begins. This is the beginning of the book or collection of authorities, sayings, opinions, and prophecies concerning the need to recover the holy city and Mount Zion, and the discovery and conversions of the islands of the Indies, and of all peoples and nations for Ferdinand and Isabella, our Spanish ruler. This manuscript, commonly known as El Libro de los Profetas, the Book of Prophecies. So, he's saying he came here to conquer the holy city and Mount Zion, and to capture all of us, which we are in slavery right now. You have a straw man, you have a social security, you're a slave, getting traded on the stock market. Reverend, a very devoted father. When I came here to Granada, I began to collect in a book excerpts from authoritative sources that seemed to me to refer to Jerusalem. I plan to review them later to arrange them appropriately. Then I became involved in my other activities. So it just goes on and on about America being the holy land, the land of milk and honey, where the pilgrims went on their pilgrimages. So they knew what was here. They knew there's over 1 million pyramids and temples in America, and this is the old world. So like I said, this is the Khan statue in Grand Canyon. Christopher Columbus says he came to look for the Khan, the Grand Khan, in my book, and other stuff. The Khan is equivalent to King of Kings. So just goes on and on. So who's Prester John? Who's the Grand Khan of America? Could it be Prester John? Huh? Is a legendary Christian patriarch. So they like to add that every time through history, they label you Christian. Even though you never practiced Christianity. You had a more pure form of that, of your culture. A patriarch and king popular in European chronicles and traditions from the 12th to the 17th century. He was said to rule over an Nestorian Christian nation lost amid the Muslims and the pagans of the Orient. So it goes into him being the king of the third India. So he calls America the third India. Christopher Columbus. So After the coming of the Mongols to the Western world, accounts placed the king in Central Asia, and eventually Portuguese explorers convinced themselves that they had found him in Ethiopia. And we know that America is called Ethiopia, it's called West Africa. And we know about the Ethiopian Emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, who said he comes from the Davidic line. Prester John supposedly comes from a Davidic line. Let's see what I had in here. It's nice. So it says yes. So this is historyrevised.com, a letter of King David, sent to Emmanuel of Constantinople in 1165. I, John, priest by the almighty power of God, keep to his friend Emmanuel, Prince of Constantinople, greeting, wishing him health, prosperity, and continuance of divine favor. So this is the Davidic dynasty of Ethiopia. This is Haile Selassie and Queen Menelik. She also comes directly from Solomon. She actually has a closer connection, genealogy than Selassie. You see Selassie right here. Our land is the home of elephants, dromedaries, camels, crocodiles, Metacolonarium, cementis, tensivitis, wild asses, white and red lions, white bears, white merles, crickets, griffin, tigers, lemurs. So it just goes on and on. The seal of King David of Scotland, the British scepter. I don't know why I came on this one, but see, 12th century rock church of Lalibela, Ethiopia. So this is after Babylonia. I don't know why I did that one, but I guess I was just trying to connect the letter of King David. There's more up here, right there. So this is King David. See how he looks? See his springy hair. See his nose. You see his face. Known to the medieval world as Prester John. There we go. The line of Davidic kings remain unbroken to this day in the person of Prince Emrys Haile Selassie, who is in address to the Library of Congress and introduced by his title, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, a conquering line of the tribe of Judah. So I'll try to get through this. Sorry, taking so long. Sorry, I think that's just another man talking. So I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna show you my father. So I did a little picture of my father here. I found a picture of my dad. So this is Haile Selassie. Comparison to my father, and you can see the phenotypes and stuff. Okay, so right there. So right here, that's Haile Selassie. Oh my goodness. Hey! So right there. This right here. Oh, what a cunt. This is Holly. This is Holly Selassie. And this right here is my father. And then, so you can see the phenotypes. Look at this picture of young Holly. You see his nose. Look at my father's nose. Like Lex Will said, he thought that the beard, the white at the bottom was a phenotype of his tribe. My father has the same white on the bottom of the beard. See, my father's beard was way more ferocious than mine's. His beard was insane. All this right here was thick hair. See all this thick, all beard. His beard was way more thick than mine's. So as you can tell, the cheekbones. You see the high cheekbones. You see the high cheekbones. You see the ring around the from the nose to the mouth. See that ring? That little dip. See the dip? You see the eyebrows. You see how the eyebrows, they're the same. Even the hair. See my dad's afro? He had hair just like me. A little more tight. So you can see. So this is the Davidic line, King Solomon. And you can see through the phenotypes, the connection. So I'm just gonna show you my family, and I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna end this video. Oh, it's hot, man. It's hot. Come on. This video is 42 minutes, so this is gonna be my dismount. So this is my Hawaiian family. We come from the Moikeha priest king line, who were navigators and temple builder. He was a navigator and temple builder as well as a priest king. He brought the Hebrew temple drum to Hawaii, and he is recognized as the first king of Kauai. And they even perverted it and called him Kane, the creator on earth. So this is his grandchildren, his great grandchildren, if they'll show. So this is my great grandmother, my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. Better fucking show that shit. So here's the original. This is my great grandmother, Hati Moikeha, and this is her daughter, Ida, and this is her as well, Ida. This is when at the end of her life, when she was gardening every day, and when we lived in the housing, she would go down in the garden every day. So she got really dark. This is just her typical color right here. This is her daughter, Naomi. Her name is Naomi. This is her daughter, and this is her daughter, my mother, Tanya. You see her afro, you see her springy hair. You see how the nose, the facial features, how they never change, because the mitochondria, how the woman gets a lot from the mother, and you can see it going back. This is my mother's brother. This is my Uncle John. You see his afro. See his phenotypes. This is my Uncle John now as an older man. You see how big he is. You see his hair, but he keeps it short. How it's real gray. You see his nose. You see his face. Okay, now you look at King Kamehameha. You already seen he has an afro. This is him when he was young. His son looks just like him. Exactly like him. Alright, so that's my family. This is my father. If you guys want to talk shit, here we go. That's my father. Not European. It's my mother. She's not European. These are Hawaiian princesses from the Moikeha lineage, who also share lineage with the Keawe and the Kawana Nakoa, and I can prove it through DNA and genealogy. It's my father, which is more of a mystery. He comes from Central America. He lived in California.